I'm good.
Good.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey, what's going on? All right, you're live. Ready? Saturday?
It's Monday night. Thank you.
The meeting tonight is for the conduct of town business by the town board. The public is invited to participate at the items marked on the agenda, public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation.
Thank you, Danielle. I'd like to
welcome.
start the meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence, please, for our brave men and women fighting all over the world for democracy and freedom, and also our first responders here at home, our 2 fire departments and our police. Thank you very much. Need a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Let me get this thing here a little closer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, motion to approve minutes from the October 12th, 2021 Town Board meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None being said, motion carried. Motion to approve minutes from the October 12th, 2021 public hearing.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said, motion carried. Authorized payment of bills in the amount of $59,514.24.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None being said, we're going to pay the bills. Tonight, we're lucky to have presentation from Steve Jennison from the Lions Club on the senior turkey dinner. The buzz is already going around.
Thank you. Is this on?
Yep.
Can you hear me? My name is Steve Jennison, a member of the Marlborough Milton Lions Club. And tonight I just want to ask for your approval to move forward. And so this is Thanksgiving for Seniors 2021. We thought this would be last year, but the seniors are still not meeting, and because of COVID and the health and safety of our seniors, we feel that it's the utmost importance that we continue this event. I've spoken to Rob from Kirky's Deli, Frank's from Frank's Village Market and Deli. We've agreed to a date of Tuesday, November 23rd. The Lions Club would start delivery and pickup process at 2 and finish by 3:30. We're asking those that pick up the dinners, it will be at the Presbyterian Church in Marlborough between the hours of 2 and 3. There'll be an article in the paper from Tammy in the next week or the week after. I've negotiated dinner price for both entities for $8 per meal. This meal will include mashed potatoes, stuffing, green beans, and gravy, along with cooking and slicing the turkeys. We engaged in negotiation with Hannaford's for the donation of all turkeys. Mr. Malazzo, our new member, is taking care of that with Hannaford's. Lions Club will provide the microwavable containers. Those were just approved. Dinner rolls and cranberry sauce will be donated by an outside vendor. Du Bois Farms, spoke again with Mr. Du Bois today. They've agreed to bake 35 pumpkin pies. And so we're very pleased with that. That's what happens when Dave and I are at Kirky's after the event. He said, Steve, we can make those pumpkin pies. So, of course, I went up there this year and I said, Dave, you remember we sat at Kirky's? And he says, yeah, I remember. I said, well, I need 35. He said, we can do that. So I'm very pleased with that. So we're estimating between 250 and 275 dinners for the town's seniors. We couldn't be more excited. We can always use drivers to help deliver. I've coordinated with Rich Gerantine for Milton Harvest and Jenny's Gardens. And then the appropriate numbers to call Tammy and Pete Yapel this time to reserve your spot. We'd like to limit it to 60 and over. And we're excited to continue our partnership with the town of Marlborough. And is there any questions?
Just a couple questions.
Go ahead.
Make sure the lid on the gravy.
Yes. We don't want any spills in the back seats of people's cars.
The other one is the sooner if you could get the information to Danielle, we could put it on our website and Facebook.
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to, Danielle. As I said, I sent the article to Tammy. It's going to be in the Southern Ulster. Is that, no, Southern Times, right?
Southern Ulster
The
Times.
It's going to
23rd.
be Tuesday, November 23rd. It's the
SUT.
Thursday before,
Tuesday before.
Thanksgiving.
Right.
If you need me to, I'm off that day.
Absolutely, Ed. We'd be more than happy. Al, don't want to twist no arms. But
Eddie, you're
everybody's
off Tuesday,
invited.
aren't you, Eddie?
Yeah, I said I'm off. I can
Yeah, it's perfect.
So, any other questions? We're
No,
excited.
I think the board doesn't have a problem with that. You want a motion to approve the finances from Chris Wilco from the seniors to fund this Thanksgiving dinner. I talked to Chris. We have the money in there, so she needs an approval from the town board. So I need a motion on that.
make the motion. I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you very much,
Thank
Steve.
you, gentlemen, and we look forward to
Appreciate
seeing you
Thanks,
out.
Steve.
Happy Thanksgiving
So see you
and a good
Tuesday.
Veterans Day.
Thanks for
All right.
organizing it,
Take
Steve.
care. Thanks, Steve.
And the donations. That's a good thing.
Any comments on the agenda? No comments on the agenda? So,
Yep.
under new business, I put down engineering contract for Tom Vac building. I put that down because we did get some response from Phil Bell, and I sent it off first to the chairpersons that are conducting this is Councilman Corcoran and Councilman Baker. And today I got some response from that, and also a response from Mr. Koenig. So we're going to put that on hold until we actually talk to Mr. Bell. I arranged a meeting already for Thursday. We have some concerns about fees, so we'll table that and come back to the town board at the next meeting. Hopefully we'll come to some kind of consideration and conclusion on the fees. We're going to meet this Thursday, so... and we're going to meet at the Tom Vac building. The whole purpose of this was when I first announced that we got the contracts for the Tom Vac renovation for the community and recreation, we were a little taken back by the time that our engineer got back to us, so we were a little concerned. And then we finally met, and now we have all the data that is needed to look at and show to the lawyers as far as contracts go. But I myself also was not too satisfied with the fees, but we're going to talk about it. Maybe they're justified. So we'll continue with that process. Everybody agree with that?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. COVID-19, our numbers are going down. You could get your booster shot, I think, from most pharmacies now.
I got mine today.
You got it?
Yep.
I got mine in Westchester Friday.
I just had to go to Walgreens in Newburgh.
That's good. Did you get your flu shot?
Huh? I don't do flu.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they're going to start doing them in Marlborough, right? CVS is supposed to be doing them, right?
You know, I
They
heard
haven't
something
done
about
it there
that.
at all.
Not yet. I
Doing
don't
the
know.
flu.
Marlborough
Oh,
CVS
the
is
flu,
supposed to
yeah.
start doing them, so I don't know what the schedule is
They
yet.
do the flu. I don't think they do the COVID yet.
They're going to be, though.
Are they?
Yeah.
They gonna be doing both shots?
That Walgreens ran away.
Well, I think this is for the booster shot. I'm
The
not
booster
sure
shot.
about
Yeah, but I mean, they're
the
gonna do
first
Moderna
2
or
shots.
COVID, or-
They got, I have
I
Moderna.
really don't know what CVS is, but I heard Mrs. Lanzetta is, I think you could go and make an appointment right now. And so she's going to get an appointment for her booster shot.
You don't have to go back to the place you got it at.
No.
No, I just was wondering if they're gonna do both, Pfizer and Moderna. or
They,
if-
they do. They ask you which one you
Oh,
want
okay,
to go
that's
for.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
got Moderna.
I guess you check out CVS and go
I
online
was
and
on
see.
their website looking to see if they're flu
I don't
shots
think
ready.
CVS is doing
They
it
don't
yet.
even know.
I don't think CVS is doing it yet.
Right now.
Not yet?
Walgreens,
Walgreens.
Walgreens and New Paltz,
Okay.
for sure.
I like to talk to you.
I know there's one of them
Actually,
that
the
was
numbers are
doing
back
it,
up
so
again.
I think it was by appointment only. It's good news, and also, we put it on the website also that you could go up to Kingston to get the booster shot, right, Danielle? So it's on our website. Sands Avenue Park report. Thanks to everybody involved, Councilman Corcoran, Councilman Baker, everybody on the board. The final touches was done by DeBella Coating. It was a municipal agreement, and John Alongi and his men, according to Dominic, he said it was flawless. The trucks came in, there was about 15 trucks. They unloaded perfectly, everything just went smoothly. Dominic was happy with the results. I saw him there. I saw him this morning. He went down to make sure there was no puddles. And so he's very happy with the job. I think everybody did an extraordinary job on that whole Sands Avenue Park, and everybody should be commended for doing that, from the highway superintendent to the water superintendent to Mr. Zambito, Mr. Santora,
Pulliam.
Mr. Pulliam. There's so many people that did
Charlie.
just above and beyond. So we're very pleased. And the grass will probably coming in now, maybe a little washout from tomorrow, hopefully not. It's supposed to get about 3-4 inches of rain.
Not easy rain
Just a
either.
correction on the McGill, you said Mr. Santora, it's Mr. Santora.
It's northeast,
Satora.
nor'easter.
I'm sorry, thank you. I must have a
We'll
moment.
see. Dave just fixed the
Satora.
berm, so we'll see how good it stays this time.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, and the dog park really looks good. So it's a really a great access to the community, and I heard people talk about it already. So it's a good thing. Milton Landing South Pier. Howard, I just saw that you sent the email to the board.
Yeah, I'll give an update and then I'll turn it over to Alan. The paperwork that needs to be filled out to start the process so that we can get reimbursed the $313,000 that were due for the grant. I submitted that last week, so that process has been kicked off. The second thing I want to say is that there is still continued interest in the pier from other cruise companies. The third one, I think I mentioned this last meeting, Lindblad Expeditions, which is based in Seattle, does tours now, I believe, from Manhattan to Hudson, and they are interested in seeing if Milton could be one of the piers that they visit. So that's in the early talking stage. That's another one that BJ's been working on. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Don't have any real details on that one yet. They are looking for something different, not necessarily pick your own or wineries. They're looking for special adventures or storytelling or music kind of thing. So maybe the Falcon or something like that would be more what they'd be looking for. But so more on that one. The third thing I wanted to mention is we still have this, we still need to make the pier secure for these larger boats. And so far, Sea Streak and American Cruise Lines are okay with the original proposed fender pile system that was in the original design. The problem now is getting some initial estimates from Brandy. I just got it before we came to this meeting. The the cost is skyrocketing. So I don't know what we're going to do there. So I need to get underneath that a little bit more, but she's quoting 2 to 3 times what the initial cost was, which was around 100,000. So I don't know. So we need to get under that a little bit more. So those are 250 to 300,000. So that's not acceptable. So
Is that materials?
materials, everything, yeah.
I'm saying materials, they go way up.
And they're adding a big contingency because they don't know what the prices of the materials might be. So we need to get into under that a little bit more. The other thing I want to mention, I'll turn it over to Alan, is the solution for right now for removing the floating dock. So Alan.
Yeah. So Howard and I have been working on this since the last meeting. We said we'd get on this, and we did. So I said I would reach out to CETO, and if people don't know what CETO is a national company that franchises out. And what it is it's sort of like AAA for boat owners. So if you have a boat for anywhere between $169 to $189 a year, depending on what coverage you want, if you're out on any waters in the coastal United States and you break down or you run out of gas, they will tow you to where you need to go, or they will bring in the first 5 gallons of gas for free. So it's an insurance type thing. So they're based over here up outside of Kingston. The captain is called Captain Joe Thomas. He owns this franchise. He owns from above Saugerties just down to, I think, Cornwall. He's got 5 boats on the water. Spoke with him on Friday. He asked when we would want the dock moved, because he says that he would really like to help us. He knows Randy. He says he'd like to give us a better rate. He says, but if it's not moved this week, it's going to be expensive because his boat at Shadows is going to get pulled this week. So that'll leave a boat up in Kingston. So if we waited to mid-November, that boat would come out of Kingston. It's $400 an hour, and you're going to get charged an hour here, an hour back. He says it's probably going to take him about a half hour to an hour to move it. He says he'd really like to schedule something with us for annual movements. He said the rates would be advantageous to us. He'd definitely cut us a break because he puts his boats in usually probably the first or second week of April for the striper fishermen, but we would just have to be cognizant of what our schedule is going to be for any of these cruise lines or these other ships or boats that are coming in, because really we have to have it out by the last week of October if we're going to utilize his Shadows boat in the future. And he says he's got the equipment to do it. I sent him a picture of the dock, the specifications, the estimated weight. His boat, he's not going to have to pull his big boat to do it, so he can do it with his regular boat. So I guess this year, Randy's going to be able to pull it late November.
Mid-November, I think. I reread the
What'd
note.
he say?
Mid-November.
Okay,
Yeah.
we got a hold of Lukey from the West Shore Marina. He has no problem with it. He says just give him notice, at least a week's notice, but he'll be available to do it any week in November.
Okay,
So let's try not to get past that with Randy.
right.
So I think I'm gonna keep I have an email I have 2 emails to Captain Joe Thomas today. I believe he's working on, because he'd asked me who's gonna be taking it apart annually. I said we would be able to handle that. We're gonna make a modification this year, when we pull it out. And I think, I'm gonna talk to Randy about this, but I think, I went down there over the weekend, I kind of really studied it. I think we can do this, we'll cut it this year, and the cutting it doesn't mean we're cutting the dock, guys. There's 2 square rings that go into a pylon.
Right.
We're gonna cut a section of that square out, keep it, take it down to West Shore. When we get down to West Shore, I think we can definitely do this with pin bolts. So when we come back next year, we're gonna slide it into place, you're gonna put those pieces back, and you're gonna put pin bolts in, cotter pins.
Right.
And it's gonna hold it. I think that's the easiest solution. And it's just it's galvanized angle iron, is all it is, so it's not even like we're gonna be cutting and welding aluminum. So I'll run that by Randy, because this is what he does for a living.
Right.
But that was just my MacGyver type, and I think it'd be a good fix for you.
I think if that doesn't, he would probably do it for us,
Yeah.
for that estimate he gave us,
Yeah,
$500 or
and
something.
that would take him probably all of 10 minutes to do.
Yeah.
With the welder. So,
So the summary is Randy this fall, and
Randy
then,
this
and
fall,
then
but
hopefully
we have to
CETO next
schedule-
year.
Yeah, hopefully I get the information back from Captain Thomas, and I'll share it with the board about his rates. But I think he's probably gonna charge us, the boats at Shadows, I could see him charging us $100 to $200 an hour. So he's 10 minutes away, so that's the travel time. We would have it all removed, or we'd have it in the water at
Right.
the marina. We'd have Lukey and those guys put it in the water. So he would just come in, scoop up, tie off, push down, and we'd hook it off. And once it's in here and we tie it off, he's gone.
Right.
So I think we could probably have it moved annually for under $500.
I would hope so.
I don't, depending on the time, but we're gonna have to
Right.
tell these cruise ships, if you wanna stay till November,
You gotta pay.
then you're paying the CTO rate to move it
Right.
in November. That's just
Right.
how it's gonna work.
Maybe that's what will work out, you know?
And maybe that'll work out to be, and that,
Right.
we'll just call up, Captain Thomas and be like, look, you gotta pull the third week of November. And another thing he said, when it gets into later November, it's gonna be more expensive because the water temperature, he has to put another crew member on the boat for safety precautions if one man goes in.
Okay.
Because you won't be able to swim, you know what I mean? You might not be
Yeah.
able to get yourself back on the boat. So I should have some more information, like, probably tomorrow morning he's gonna email me back, 'cause I was kinda hoping he would do it today.
That'd be great.
And then I reached out to Kingston. They're looking to see how they manage their harbor. They used to have a harbor master, but they don't. And it was more like a retired guy who kind of just did it, but for the bigger boats. So I'm signing a contract with them on something else. I'll be up there at City Hall and I'll find out who I need to talk to.
Do you know if Highland has a harbor master?
No. I think the town itself just puts in the public ramp and then takes it out. I think the highway guys do it. But they don't have any commercial activity going on. That's just the public. They don't even charge for parking up there, which is problematic. Just give everyone a place to park.
I also followed up with the Tilcon because somebody mentioned that they had a little tug. So I called Josh, the gentleman that we've been working with the trail. And actually that little tug, they subbed that out to another person who does that. And he said basically it's just to, in their harbor there, to manage
That's
their,
all they do.
yeah, that's all it is, so. But I followed through, but,
And with the CTO thing, he's fully insured too, so God forbid anything happens to the dock while it's floating down the river, or something like that. They're a legit company. We would go into a contract with them, so.
okay, thank you very much for doing that.
No problem.
Howard, I have just one question, it's a little befuddled me, but the reason we took the bumper system out of the original design, it saved us the $100,000.
Yep.
So since 3 months or 4 months, it came to 300,000?
That's what I'm hearing, so and that's why I see we have to get underneath
Probably
that.
because also they were on site, they don't have to come back.
Yeah,
Prices of
there's-
steel probably went up.
Yeah, there's, I mean,
But still,
Yeah,
that's
we
a
got-
huge difference. I mean, I could see maybe 50,000 more.
I
but
mean,
2 to 3 times more.
she's-
I mean, if you look at it in
Crazy.
the industry that I'm in, we're seeing.
It's almost sounding like they don't want to do it.
We're seeing
It's like
our
when they give you a
vendors,
crazy
for what we
price.
make, who we buy from to assemble a fire truck, we're seeing their prices go up anywhere from minimally it's 8, but 17 to 30% on the components that it takes to build a fire truck.
Depending on the component,
Depending on the component, the electronics really went up,
right?
but the poly tanks, the fire tanks are made out of plastic. They're made by a company called
But it's
UPF.
the same thing.
The
It's
cost
steel
of the
cage,
plastic
right?
pellets
With bumpers.
went up like 20%. It's the cost of freight to get the pellets there, and it's the cost of freight to get the tanks to the manufacturers. So that's all combined in.
Yeah,
So it's really volatile right now. I mean,
it's
metal
crazy,
is-
right? It's
metal is
supply and
the same.
demand,
yeah,
right?
it doesn't
Yeah,
sound right,
it's-
so I have to, like I
crazy.
said, I just talked to her
But it
before.
should settle down, so if we talk about it all winter long, maybe price will fall.
Let's hope
And if
so.
we did this pier, if we waited to bid this pier, that 1 point what, would do 1 point whatever million?
1.5, 1.6, yeah.
Sick.
Put 35% on that, and that's what it would've came back as, easily.
Well, that's what we're worried about at Tomback right now, too.
Yeah, that's gonna be something,
Like,
Tom back.
even if we get this bid out in January, which we hope, we're just hoping we could get materials that they could actually complete the job. That's the problem we're facing, and the 30% increase possibly in
Well, he
prices.
estimated 22%.
22%, he said, yeah.
But if you look at, I mean, lumber has come down.
That's come down.
So hopefully it'll keep on coming down. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, appreciate it. I put down safety procedure for town hall lockdown. I put that just to keep it like a placeholder. Of course, I really like to have Jerry here to explain. We had a meeting with all the employees, and some of the suggestions were doable, some were not, some were cost-effective. But I'd like to have Jerry come and explain that. He send that out to the board. And then we talked about, basically, just recently I told him that it seems like the gate is the clerk's office, and I understand that Colleen has concerns about being the gatekeeper, letting people in, and that's understood. But I was talking to Jerry, since, maybe we could follow through what they have down in the police department, as far as where you don't have to open up the window, you could talk through it, and there would be a bypass where people could bypass, and that would, I think, eliminate a lot of stuff, especially during taxes, right? I could follow through with Jerry and see what the cost of that was.
The push, the underneath thing,
Huh?
the little push.
Yeah, those guys did that downstairs.
It was not cheap, but
Yeah,
it's something you could look into.
yeah.
The other thing is like, they only have basically like plexiglass there, so it's not like,
Yeah, they don't have a lot of protection.
there's no like this actually here is bulletproof glass, believe it or not, on this one. But the clerk's is not, it's just plexiglass.
Yeah, that's
That
what I
would be
was thinking
another
of, replacing all that,
Yeah,
just
and
like the
putting a
police
unit.
department.
I want to say that unit was $4,500 for the pastor.
not a lot of
The
money
electronic
for
thing, but
Coming after our employees.
yeah, no.
It's really not a
no.
lot of money.
And I want to say this, if like that size was about, it was kind of expensive too, like 3,500.
Well, that's not too bad, considering.
There was also a discussion about having the school have like a sub come in and sit in the hallway with the button as well.
Actually, I couldn't make it because I was down in the city, but I asked Deputy Supervisor Baker to meet with Jerry and the superintendent of schools on a meeting about lockdown. So, I don't know, do you want to
Well,
talk with-
most of that meeting was regarding the 3 school buildings and what procedures they're taking, and all the new construction, and the fact that that's behind schedule. But at the end of that meeting, Jerry did describe the issue we have here at this building and possible solutions, and said, we are considering all of our options, something akin to what they have down here for the police station upstairs. But no details were discussed, really. He just said we're considering a lot of different possibilities.
Couple different things,
But
yeah.
I think it could be like a shared service between the town and the school, with somebody there as the greeter. I mean,
I
that's
feel
what
that
they have
that's
in the
the
school
best
districts.
option.
That's what they have in all their schools,
Right,
right?
that's
It
what
would
they have.
really not
With
be
bulletproof
possible for us to let everybody,
windows and
building in.
so forth.
Yeah, because you would have to let the school people in. at the
we have
same
to let
time.
everybody in.
Everybody.
Yeah,
That's,
they would be the
you'd be
gatekeeper.
interrupted all
And
day
we
long.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're distracted.
Yeah, plus you're not there always.
And that,
You're not
Yeah,
there
that's
all
true
the
too,
time, so.
yes.
So we're going to work through all this. Just like I said, Chief Kukoza is celebrating his anniversary. I hope he's having a good time. And we'll have this dialogue, continued dialogue about the safety procedures for our employees. I have some correspondence. So, good recommendation from Councilman Corcoran that I read this out. It's about the Thanksgiving Food Drive Community Compassion Project. It says, "Hi, hope all is well. Last year I started my own nonprofit company called Community Compassion Project, Inc. Over the past year, I've done various service projects throughout the Hudson Valley to help those in need. With the holiday season approaching, I will be doing a Thanksgiving food drive. I'm asking, if possible, if I can have a drop-off box located in the Marlborough Milton Town office. Would that be okay? I can bring the box by sometime this week, and I will be by to pick it up in November 19th. All donations, food, and any monetary will be used to fill Thanksgiving baskets to benefit families at the Marlborough Elementary School. Thank you so much for your help. And that's Christine Rabasco, Rabasco. I have no problem with this, and I'm sure the board doesn't. So I need a motion to call her up and say that she could put the box in our probably
I'll make the motion.
in the entry there.
Yep. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
The trunk or treat one looks like it's getting full. A little.
We had to take some out
Was
today.
full.
Yeah, that's good.
You didn't eat it, did you?
You didn't
No.
eat it.
So I also have a memorandum from Chief Kokosa, Officer John Zambito, number 20, 10/19/2021. Letter of resignation. Over the past 4 years, it's been my pleasure to serve the residents of the town of Marlborough through the opportunities provided by the police department in both roles of dispatcher and police officer. However, I have recently accepted promotion with the Ulster County Sheriff's Office and am no longer able to fulfill my contractual obligations in respect to scheduling availability. And this is a formal resignation of my position as police officer. Thank you, Chief Kokosa, for providing me the opportunity to start my career here. I'll be forever grateful. Respectfully, John Zambito. John was extraordinary police officer. This is what happens. I think our sheriff, talking to our sheriff, realized that and hired him right on the spot. John speaks fluent Spanish. He's very bright, and he's just a great police officer, so we'll miss him. We lose a lot of police officers for different areas because of different opportunities.
Well, at least he gave us 4 years. It's not like it's...
He did.
Well, he's a go-getter worker, right? I mean,
Yeah.
He knew what he wanted to do, and he moved up. So did a good job.
Maybe we'll get him back part-time
Yeah, eventually.
eventually.
I think that's it as far as correspondence. Bill engineer. Any public comment?
I have something to
Yes.
say. We discussed something the other night, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know, I don't know if I got all my answers. I know there was a contract signed by you with a lawyer to work for the town of Marlborough, represent the town of Marlborough in some lawsuits, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that exactly what happened? Now, you mentioned, to me that you mentioned that to us before, and I would like to ask the other councilman, I can't remember you ever mentioning anything like that.
Well, could I start?
Go right ahead.
Okay. I did mention in some of my reports, but I apologize to the board. About 13 months ago, Mike Bly came into my office, and we discussed about him looking at our workman comp reports to see if he could actually find any monies where the town could get those monies back on a retainer of a third, just like most lawyers. So at first I was a little hesitant, and I went back and forth, and then I said, well, send me some resume about yourself. So he did, and basically he's a lawyer. He was a lawyer for New Windsor for 13 years, and then he gave reference to Gil at the supervisor of the town of Newburgh. And I called Gil up, and he said, yeah, this guy got me $200,000. So I said, oh, that's pretty good. So I said, is he reputable? He said, yeah, he's a hard worker. If there's anything there, he'll help you get money. But that doesn't prelude me not asking the board at that time for permission to go and sign a document to release for him to come and look at our records. So I apologize for that. I don't know what happened. Actually, I even forgot about it. It was 13, 14 months. It was October and 20th of 2020. So I apologize for the board for doing that.
So we actually have a contract with this gentleman?
So we had a retainer agreement, And the retainer agreement says basically if he gets anything, he gets 33.33% of anything that he does get. So he was looking at Mr. Jeremino's thing, and Mr. Jeremino has a 50-100 insurance with the guy that rear-ended Mr. Jeremino. So what Mr. Bly said is in this retainer agreement that I signed, which I apologize for not asking the board, was that he would look at that claim and see if he could get, without any harm to Mr. Jeremino, the $50,000 that if there was another person in there with a 50-100, that other person would get $50,000. Since there wasn't, Mr. Bly believes that the town of Marlborough was entitled to that $50,000. So he, with this retainer agreement that I signed, without permission, and I apologize once again, it's like the third time, that he could go and look at these documents and actually talk to Chris Wilklow about what the working comp, how much we're paying, how much we paid Mr. Jeremino for the 2 years that he's been out of service. So basically, that was the whole story. What I just recently found out, Mr. Jeremino called myself, and he also called Councilman Corcoran, that was upset because he said that this gentleman was holding up his $50,000. So I told Mr. Jeremino that I would talk to Mike and that shouldn't happen. We're not after Mr. Jeremino's $50,000. So I talked to Mike. Mike says, absolutely not. We're after the $50,000 of the 50-100. So I called Mr. Jeremino up, and he asked me to have this lawyer, Mike, call his lawyer up. And I guess everything was arranged, and everybody was satisfied of the conclusion of that conversation. That being said, I just received an email from Mike stating that the insurance settled, and it's in favor of the town of Marlborough. Mr. Jeremino will get $50,000, and the town of Marlborough will also get $50,000. Now, he will get 33.33%. The town will get $34,000. That being said, it's up to the board. I mean,
Does this take away from that extra $50,000? Nick himself wouldn't have been able to.
no, Nick is only due for $50,000. He was the only one in the car that was rear end. So basically, what Mike Bly was, and he does this. He's very good. He's like I said. When I first told him I'm not interested, he was very not forceful, but he said, you should think about the salads and the benefit of the taxpayers if I could get the money. So I thought about it, and then like 13 months ago or 14 months ago, I signed this retainer agreement to him to talk to Chris and to talk to Chief Kokoza. That being said, everything worked out in the benefit of Mr. Jeremino. He'll get his $50,000, and the town will get $50,000 approved by the town board, and he'll take his 33.33% out, and it'll be about $34,000 to help us pay for the cost, basically, of with the workman comp. So that's my story. I apologize again.
I accept your apology. I have a couple of questions. Sure. Usually, in a lawyer, you usually have to give him money as a retainer.
This was no money. The money.
So it really wasn't a retainer.
No, it's the retainer agreement, and I'll give this to you. It's just it tells you in lieu of if he gets money, he gets the 33 1/3.
Okay. At this
There's
point,
no money exchange
I
between the
understand
town
that.
and
I totally think, but he does, when he goes to court,
right.
he's representing our town.
He's representing our town.
Correct.
Exactly.
And I think that we should know who this person is that's representing our town, who we hired, that we didn't even know we hired. I have a real big problem with that. I don't want another apology. I just want to know, I just have a problem with us not even knowing. I have to have a layman come to me in the street and tell me that you guys have a guy on retainer, and I don't even know about it, and it's been going on for 14 months. I got a problem with that.
Of course, I would have a problem
Well, I
with
think,
it too.
the only thing I would have a question now is we should really check, because is it actually legal that you sign that without the board approval? That's what I would check.
With our lawyers.
The retainer agreement, I mean, everything's done. I did.
I know it's
send-
done, but-
I did send everything to
To the lawyer?
the lawyer.
I think we should check with our lawyer that,
That's what
I
he's talking
can-
about.
do we
I
have to
said-
pass a resolution, a separate resolution to say that we agree to this, that's all.
Yeah, I sent all that to David
To Dave.
Weiss and the new attorney right away. As soon as I found out that, I
And
didn't get
what has
board
Dave's
approval.
response have been as of yet? Has he
I sent
responded?
it to them when we met with Chief Kukosa and the new lawyer.
And so the new lawyer that Dave's recommending, are we gonna, they're gonna come here and introduce themselves to us
Yes.
or anything?
They're in the executive session, we would have done it tonight, but like I said,
Kukosa's
Chief
not here.
Kukosa wasn't here, I think, out of respect for him, because he's the one that actually, according to the lawyers, it's the board, but it's also Chief Kukosa who's going to administrate, the whole thing about
Retirement.
Jeremino.
I mean, you guys saw my comments. I mean, I don't particularly like these types of lawyers. I think they're just, blood-hungry lawyers going after people that got hurt.
Well,
I understand we could recoup money, and, if Nick's not getting hurt by any of this, that's a different story, but.
it's all done, and like
but-
you said.
But it's not
I'll
really
check-
done
I'll
because
check with
we
the
gotta
lawyer,
check with that.
Make sure that the lawyer received all my documents from the day one, and see if if I need a resolution to
No.
state to get the
To keep it.
34,000. I think you're in favor of getting the 34,000.
As long as our lawyer says,
As long
okay,
I
yeah.
gotta check, as long as it doesn't affect our police officer.
And absolutely, well, I'll check with
Just
him, but it says,
As long as our lawyer reads it,
the
says.
conversation with I had Nick was that he thanked me and it was all done.
No, he called me too. He said that you called, and now what about, because he also said that there were that this Mike was going after other avenues too. to
No,
sue.
this was the only thing that Mike was going after. He was going after that 5,100. Actually, Mike was hoping that it was 100, 300, so this way the town could recoup more money. But Mr. Jeremino would get 100,000, and the town would be
200,000.
able to get more money.
Well, if
So
he had a
it
longer
didn't work
lawyer,
out.
he would've had to have 100.
Now, does workers' comp themselves come after any of that money? Because,
They
I mean,
got-
after the money that he says he's getting for us?
No, it's workman comp goes after Mr. Jeremino.
Yeah, I know, that's a
Yeah,
given.
This has had nothing to do with workers. This money is from the insurance claim from the gentleman that rear-end.
The insurance company, the guy,
Nick. So he gets the 50,000, we get the 50,000, the case is closed. I appreciate your concern, and I had a concern, so when I realized that, I've been doing this with
I
these
know.
guys for 6 years, I usually don't mess up like this.
that's
but
what surprised me.
it
Like we
surprised me
said.
too.
It happens.
So it was during, I'm not going to make excuses for it, but I sent all the information to our lawyers. The lawyers will be here next meeting for executive session in regards to,
Al, at that meeting, can we have copies of the agreement you signed?
I'm going to send it to you when I get home.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
As long as we have it at the meeting, so we can go
Yeah,
over
I'm going to
before
send
we-
it to you right now, as soon as I get home.
Okay.
I'm going to send you all the correspondence I had with Mr. Bly,
All right,
you know.
thank you.
Yeah. And we'll follow through with the attorney.
Still open for public comment now?
Public comment. I asked before,
That
nobody.
was his public.
I'm a public comment.
He had a
It's not
public
really,
comment.
he's a
Go
board
ahead.
comment, he's a board comment.
Well, he was a public at that point, I guess.
Good evening, Mickey Simonowski, Marlborough, New York. You asked if CVS was scheduling appointments, so while I was sitting there, I tried to schedule an appointment in Marlborough, and they had 5 available for this coming Wednesday. So people can go to our local CVS to get their booster shots.
Thank you.
Or regular ones. Thank you.
Thank you.
I thought they were gonna start scheduling. Good.
Yeah, I think
Thanks.
that must have changed in the last couple of days, because they weren't doing it a
There was
couple of
20
days ago.
people at the one in Newburgh.
Because I know a lot of seniors were asking if we were gonna do a clinic again, and we were saying no, because a lot of these CVS's and these Walgreens and these Rite Aids are starting to do them locally.
they get paid by the
I think Mr. Jarentine has gotten one clinic. He's going to his specific Jenny's Gardens or something like that.
Yes.
But besides that, it's very hard to get these guys to come and do them anymore because they're so busy doing other things. I think the guy that we used a few times, he actually just signed a contract with the county.
Doctor from Woodstock?
Yeah.
Neil?
Dr. Neal. I think he just won the contract with the county, and he's going to be representing the county across the whole county, so it's a pretty big contract. So he's not available to do these anymore, so it's good that these like CVS's and stuff are doing it. It's very local.
I know you can get, from personal experience, you can get a COVID test, your own test kit there.
Yeah.
And they work fairly easy to do, so.
My understanding from Michael Brooks is that they're going to have somebody at the high school. Did they start that already, or
I don't know, but I heard that too.
For what, testing or vaccination?
vaccine?
Vaccines.
Well, yeah, I think they're still working out those details.
We've had them at our, they come because we've had them at our work. They've came and they gave them the booster shots, they've given them the flu shot. They're pretty good at it, but, you know, they want to have X amount of people guaranteed. That's pretty much what it comes down to, so.
Okay. Thank you, Mickey. Yeah, announce your name, you know. We've got a big crowd tonight, so.
Not to belabor, but I just wanted to thank the board for the Sands Avenue Park. I live on Sands Avenue, as many of you know, and it is really lovely. When we first moved in, we were sort of like, "Ooh, what is this?" But it's beautiful. And just a little side note, so this morning I was out there, and there's a big drain that they put the asphalt around, and it was a lot of water, deep water. And so just the highway department happened to be going by, and I said, "Look at the water, what do you think?" And they said, "The drain, they can't figure out where it goes to." It's so interesting, the infrastructure that's underneath there, you don't know. And I will report, by this afternoon, the water was gone.
Yeah.
So it's going somewhere, but it looks good, and I just want to thank you all. It really is
Well,
lovely.
they know where it's going.
Was it the drain closer to the road or the drain that's?
No, the drain that's right off the road.
On the road.
Oh, off the
Yeah,
road, okay.
right there. It was
That
about
one-
maybe 8 inches,
Yeah,
6
that
to
one's-
8 inches.
That
and-
one they're not sure of.
We don't want to
Yeah,
touch that one.
He said, I have no idea, but it was, so thank you. And I will also say I got my COVID booster, and the appointments are easy, they're numerous. And
Yeah.
flu shots also.
I got mine today too, yeah.
Don't forget that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Real quick, a lot of those drains down there have valves on them somewhere, so there's a valve box
You were
somewhere.
saying.
Because if there was ever a truck spill or an oil tank
Yeah.
spill,
Turn 'em
and it got into the drains, they would run to the valve box and close the drain valve so it wouldn't go in the river. So we opened up the big one in the center, because we knew where the drain box was, it was a pit. We went down there and we opened it up.
So we don't know what
But
happened.
that one's probably got a half-closed valve, or a clogged valve, but we don't know where it
You mean the
goes.
clog valve not there, but somewhere?
Somewhere, not
Wherever it
through the
went.
hole, there's a valve box somewhere that's probably buried by pavement or by dirt.
I mean, they hit so many things underneath
Yeah.
that ground.
Because they had,
It's
for emergency
amazing.
purposes, they had to be able to shut those off.
I mean, there is that pipe that goes all the way around the back and down the hill, the black
That's-
drain pipe. That goes to that center one you were talking about, right?
Yeah, the center one comes right out. There's a swamp on the other, if you go into the woods, there's a
Yeah.
swamp. It would drain into the swamp,
Yep.
and then it would drain down towards the railroad tracks. But we made sure that one was open.
Yeah, they were worried about that first drain. But
Really just fill it up. with cement.
Thank you very much. Yeah. If anybody's going to find out what happens, I think John Alonji's the guy who's
might
going
have
to
to
do
get
it.
one of those little robots and go down the drain.
So the next thing is Resolution 79 to adopt the 2022 final budget. Resolution 79 to adopt the 2022 final budget. Good night. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Marlborough duly held a public hearing on the 2022 budget on October 12, 2021, and whereas said hearing was duly advertised and held at a appointed time and place, and all persons interested in the subject thereof were given the opportunity to be heard. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Marlborough desires to adopt the 2022 final budget. Now therefore be resolved that the 2022 final budget is hereby adopted and moves for its adoption.
Councilman Corcoran?
Yes, and thank you to Supervisor Lanzetta and Chris Wilco for all their hard work working with us on this, and yes.
Councilman Molinelli?
Yes, and ditto the same from, good job, Supervisor and Ms. Wilco.
Councilman Koenig?
Yes, and thank you to everyone who was involved in all the work they put in.
Councilman Baker?
Yes, and my sentiments exactly.
Supervisor Lanzetta?
Yes, and thank you to all, especially Chris Wilco and Scott Corcoran, Councilman Corcoran. We spent many time on it. We thought we were really looking in good shape. I hate to repeat myself, but at the last moment, Mobile Life came in with quite a increase, 10%, I believe, almost $30,000, which changed the figures quite a bit. But I just want to reiterate that House, General, and Highway combined for 2021, the 2022 assessed value for a $400,000 house at a rate of 8.455, which is a difference from the rate of 2021, which was 8.309. So 2022, you'll pay $58.40. A $300,000 home at the rate of 8.455, you'll pay 43.8. $250,000 valued home, assessed value home would be at the rate of 8.455, would be $36.50. And if you have a $200,000 assessed value home at the rate of 8.455, would be $29.20. I don't think there's too many of them around in Marlborough, but and $150,000 assessed value would be $21.90. I think all you guys fall in the $400,000 range, so yeah. $58. Okay. So that being said, I thank you very much. Thank you for your participation. And appreciate bringing that up to clarify that whole thing, and I'll be sending all the documents to all the board members. With that being said, Alan.
Yeah, there was a lot of good news tonight. I just like to reiterate, I think the Thanksgiving dinner thing by the Lions Club is great news. I think the budget is really great news. Other good news, there's an NFL football game on tonight. So I was wondering if I can get a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Perfect.
Did you motion or second?
He motioned.
That's all right. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, gentlemen.